Hello everyone, Erin here. Welcome to my craft room. I do have a double page scrapbook layout we're going to create today, and my good friends Cami and Jama have already scrapbooked these photos, so it's going to be fun to put my own creative spin on them. But I have a very exciting opportunity to share with you, and if you've ever thought about becoming a part of my creative community, we're going to talk all about it while we assemble this layout. So let's turn the camera around and jump right into it. This is going to be a double page layout because I am scrapbooking 10 photos, and I have to admit there was a lot more photos and I was overwhelmed. I've actually been kind of putting this off because I was having a hard time narrowing down the pictures. This was a scrapbooking team retreat. So with that many scrapbookers in the group, the photos were endless and so many amazing photos. So with the help of the Wander and Remember travel guide, I was able to just kind of narrow it down. And you can see I've got a 4x6, a lot of 3x4s, and a couple 3x3s. And again, I'm using a sketch from our Wander and Remember. This is a travel guide, so this is a little bit different from our sketchbooks. We've introduced this here on our channel before. The beginning is a super helpful book on travel, documenting travel, right? From before the trip, during the trip, and what to do afterwards. And then we have these fantastic sketches that many of them are photo heavy because we have a lot of photos when we travel, right? So underneath here, I've covered up the measurements, but you can see this sketchbook contains artwork. Now, this was a layout that Janice designed, and I absolutely love it. Her photo orientation fit mine. I'm going to switch it up just a little bit, and I love the mountains and trees. So this layout really works well for me. So having this just really helped me. Okay, I can fit this many photos and, use the photo spots to kind of make it work for me. And we are just going to jump in. So like I said, I've got all my photos here, and I am using the Weekend Adventures collection. This is absolutely perfect for any outdoorsy camping type of event. Now, of course, we had very nice rooms. We weren't camping at this, but we did take advantage of the campfire pit one night and just had a really great time. It was so pretty out. The weather was perfect. We roasted marshmallows, and yeah, I had to include these two because they caught Jama and I stuffing our face with s'mores, ooey gooey deliciousness. There's marshmallow all over my hand there. So I thought that these would be really fun to kind of have in there. And then just action shots and lots of things going on. So you can see following the sketch, I have a row of photos down the side here. And then we've got a block of these photos here. So I might move those around. Then we have our main focal photo. I can't stress the importance enough. I know we don't all love group photos, but this was so helpful because there was no way to get everybody in with the smaller photos. But in the group photo, everybody's there. I know exactly, I can remember everyone and all their smiling faces are in the photo. And I don't have to work quite so hard to try and get them in all of these random little shots here. So I did print these out a little bit differently. You can see Janice has designed this sketch with a large focal photo and then this one here. So I just used that space for two smaller photos. And then I didn't quite have enough landscape over here, but I'm going to use that spot for embellishing so it actually works out perfectly. I narrowed down the papers from the workshop, the scrapbooking workshop from Weekend Adventures. So there's this fabulous wood grain in here, and I wanted to use that. So we've got these log grounds. There's lots of course, grays from all the granite in the background and the rocks, and then the wood tones really capture that outdoor vibe. And I know it doesn't look that dark, but it was. We just kind of lightened up the photos. And this, I think, is supposed to be enamel cookware, but it also reminds me of a night sky. And I have a title that my good friend Cindy made me. She made one for each of us who attended the retreat, and she just did such a fabulous job. She cut this out on her Cricut. Cindy Jackson is my upline, and she also hosts amazing team retreats. But you can see she even did the ink blending here on the fire and glued all this together, put a little nice note on here. Camp Scrap a Lot. That was the name of our retreat. Team Retreat 2025. So glad you're here, Cindy Jackson. So I really want to use this because Under the Stars was perfect. And I just like how it ties into this paper. enamel cookware or Starry Night. You get to decide. So I am thinking something like this. And again, I use the sketch measurements to get me started, but I am going to change things up just a little bit. But those measurements are in there. We're just making them a little bit different. So while I get this base layer down, I want to talk to you and about becoming a part of my creative community. As you know, I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and right now, Stampin' Up! Is offering an opportunity to join, and it's honestly such a good deal. There is nothing to lose. It's amazing. During the month of October, if you join for $35, you get to pick out $125 worth of product that you pick out, things that you want and you will use. You get to build your own starter kit. They also have another option to join for $99 and pick out $189 worth of product. Either way, it's $90 worth of free product, basically. And I think the better deal is to join for 35 and pick out $125 worth of product so that if there's more things on your wish list, you can go back and purchase those with your Stampin' Up! Discount. Which leads me to the perks. The discount is often the reason many of us join because it's a great way to save money on that ever growing crafty wish list, right? So, when you join as a demonstrator, you save 20% to start. That does have the potential to increase depending on a few factors, but 20% plus you get to see and order from the online exclusives and the catalog a month, sometimes more than everybody else. So I'm showing you, I'm bringing in some different paper layers here. I want to bring in that buffalo plaid and I need something to match this block of photos over here. So this is black. I'm just kind of trying that out. And then I don't know if I want the black. This is smoky slate. Let's see how it looks on there. It kind of looks nice with all of that granite. I like that one. I'm going with the smoky slate. So we'll cut that down and we'll mat all of these together as one unit. I will go ahead and get those adhered down to the base off camera. And then I want to use this buffalo plaid to mat this photo. So I cut an extra wide mat and I like that it brings the orange from the fire over to the left hand side of the photo. And then, of course, we can't forget our title. I'm loving how that looks. Now we need to embellish. Let's bump these over just a bit this way, actually. I am going to follow Janice's lead and use the Scenic Adventure dies here. We've got the mountains and the tree line to create our embellishment border across the bottom. You can see she has it in the center there, and I think that looks so good. So I've got smoky slate for the mountains and old olive for the tree line, and I'll go ahead and cut out a whole bunch. Some of these were from scraps, so we'll just kind of piece them together. And of course, here comes David. Hi, mister. You want to help? I like to kind of overlap these mountains here. And let's see, we'll tuck this one in here. Dave, what if can we lay you down? Oops, sorry. That was kind of manhandling you. He looks a little offended. Oh, he's making biscuits. We're good. He's forgiven me already. So I'm thinking something, let's just kind of bring these in here and see how it looks. I might want to make them shorter, maybe not so tall. So we'll just kind of dry fit everything for now. But I just love these. I've been having so much fun with these mountain and tree dies and using them on so many different layouts in different ways. Dave says, "No, I don't like that there. Let's bring that up a little bit." You think so? I kind of like it on the bottom, Dave. I also have the Christmas greenery die. There's this large pine sprig in here. These are left over from Christmas card making, and I've got some in here that will work. Some old olive, mossy meadow. I think the others are garden green and shaded spruce, so we won't use those. But I got this idea from Jama because remember, she has scrapbooked this, and so is Cami. They were both there. Well, Jama hosted. Cami was there, and Cami was my secret coffee dealer, but that's a story for another day. Cami, if you're watching this, I'm really sad we didn't get a photo of the coffee runs in the morning. Anyway, I also have these little trees here. Those are also from Scenic Adventures. You can see the die sets there. And then I have, now this is some ephemera that I actually made. I left this separate so they could kind of pop it up with some foam tape. And I just used print and cut. And then I embossed this tag and made a little ephemera pack. I actually really love the geotag, but I think it's just too big for the layout. And then these pine cones are awesome. I love these. These are actually from the Delicate Pines die set. You can see the layering pine there. Earlier, I mentioned many join for the discount, and that's very true, but we often stay for the community. That's kind of become our little saying around here because it's so true. And we're all drawn by the pretty things and the crafty goodness and saving money on those. But then we discover a whole world of friends and community and connection. And it's just a wonderful place to be. I keep trying to make this work, but I do think it's just too big. So we'll have to save that for another project. And believe me, I have plenty of photos from this trip. These photos were taken at our annual in person team retreat, but we do get together pretty regularly for crafty team Zoom crops where we just hang out and work on whatever we're working on and chat and craft all day long. And it's a really good time. We have weekly team meetings. I go on live every Friday in my Facebook group just to keep people up to date and in the know, answering questions. And then sometimes we do creative projects as well. I share a monthly team sketch challenge, and so does my upline Cindy. So there's no shortage of inspiring ideas to help you get more scrapbooking done. I'm just kind of fine tuning this little cluster over here. That's looking pretty good. Maybe bump that sticker up just a bit. Now I'm feeling like there's too much like brown over here. It's just kind of missing something. If you look at the original design, she has trees over here and here. So that kind of brings that over and the color's lighter overall. Mine is just kind of dark and it's needing something right here. So I've got an idea. I think what I want to do is bring this all the way over and I went ahead and cut a full 12-inch strip of the paper, almost cut that too far down to where I broke in half. But let's just kind of see what this looks like if we bring that over. Yeah, I think that's looking better already. And then I maybe don't want the mountain stopping so abruptly. Let's kind of bring that mountain so that it slopes downward behind Jama's photo there. So I've got extra pieces there. And again, these, well, let's actually, maybe we can move. How do we best want to do this? Maybe like this. Let's swap these around. And sometimes it's just like a puzzle piece. So we can, make them kind of continuous too. So I do want these, there'll be a little gap in the photo album, but I want that to look continuous as it's going across. So I think it's just more pleasing to the eye that way. So I may have to trim off the bottom of that one. But see how you can just kind of overlap these mountains like this? I think it's really, really cool. I'm just loving this. We'll stop at the brown. We don't need to go behind that because the photo's there. I have some smaller pieces here so we can bring that in there. And I just want it to kind of disappear behind the tree line. Let's bring Jama on top and then we'll bring this in. And I think that's what it needed. It's just that lightness over to that bottom corner there just really finished it off. That looks good. I'm happy with that. I do want to add a little detailing to these, so I'm going to add some shadowing with my all-purpose mat here. I've got the Smoky Slate coordinating ink, and I'll show you how you can take a blending brush and just add a subtle glow to the outside of these. And I'll do this with olive old olive ink. I almost said olive gold. Where'd that come from? Old olive ink to the tree line as well. I'm sorry if you can hear that saw in the background. We do have some construction going on here and I'm trying to work around it, but sometimes the show just must go on, right? So let's just add a little bit more here and then we'll switch to our tree. I won't make you watch the whole process. I'll do a lot of these off camera. I thought I would go over more of the frequently asked questions when it comes to joining. So many people, what's the catch, right? It seems too good to be true. There's definitely no catch. If you take it for a test drive and if you decide being a demonstrator is not for you, then you just simply drop back down to being a customer. There is a quarterly minimum. So it's $300. So that averages out to $100 a month, which for me is no problem. And that's, you know, $300, but then minus your discounts. You're not actually spending $300 a quarter if you are factoring in your discount. Your first quarter is kind of a freebie. So those of you joining in October, you don't actually have to meet that first quarterly minimum until March 31st of 2026. So you have lots of time to just kind of feel things out, see if it's a good fit for you, and decide if it's something you want to continue with. I am going to put a little, slant in the end of this and ink it up just to give it a little character. Like I said, if you don't meet your quarterly minimums, you simply drop back down to being a customer and you get to keep everything you bought. So, definitely nothing to lose. If you do decide to join my team, Stampin' Up! Will send me an email letting me know, and I will reach out to you with an email inviting you to my team Facebook group so we can get you into the community and I can start helping you make the most of your Stampin' Up! Journey. So, absolutely zero pressure from me to do anything more. I do want to say you do not have to sell, you can simply be here for the discount. Now I'm looking at this and I feel like we need a little something something over here. We've got this sticker that says group photo, which would be very, very perfect, but it's pointing, I don't know. I kind of wanted it over here, but then it's pointing like out the page and that doesn't make sense. So I've got another idea. We'll put this back. I did a little stash diving, digging through my camping stamps. I have this one could work too. This is better together. But I found this one called Troop Life with the marshmallow sticks, and then this one here, Camping Life with the s'more, and this one says the s'more the merrier. Those are too perfect. So I stamped them out and colored them, and now we can create this perfect little corner cluster that I am geeking out over because it looks so cute. Just I ended up having like 5 sets with marshmallow roasting sticks, but this one was my favorite. And now let's put the little s'more on top and maybe angle this a bit differently. But anyway, I cannot stress enough, you do not have to do what I do. You do not have to create YouTube videos. You do not have to host parties. You do not have to do any of that unless you want to. Again, no pressure from me. We are here for our mutual love of paper crafting and to just share our joy for all things scrapbooking and card making. I printed out by journaling on Avery Clear sticker paper. We'll put this Better Together sticker right up here. And again, my friends Cami and Jama have already both scrapbooked these photos. So if you'd like to see a completely different take on the same set of photos, I'll leave their videos in the description box below. I have also included a link to join my crafty community. So if you have any questions at all, reach out to me via email and I'm happy to answer those questions for you. Well, that was fun. Thank you for spending time with me today. And I hope this layout inspired you and you make a little time to get into your craft room and create something amazing. What are you waiting for? There's room for everyone. Join the community and you are all welcome here. I'd be honored to have you on my crafty team.